All right.
But I can't believe Saquon Barkley is an Eagle. I can't believe it's not often that you get the player that you're watching and you're saying, like, I wish he was on my team. We have that player in Saquon Barkley.
It is amazing the things that he does on the football field. And, because he's the local guy, sort of, right? He goes to New York, and you play the Giants twice a year. And so you get to see him a little bit. He was not this guy up there. Now, they haven't been able to rectify that offensive line up in New York for some reason for years. But watching him over the years, you're just like, wow, what happened to him? Well, this is who he was coming out of Penn State. And that move that he had yesterday, I've never seen anybody jump backwards, leapfrog somebody on a football field. I don't care what level of football it was.
Well, it was a spin, but it wasn't a traditional spin when you look at it, right? Because
So he spins.
Has time. Now
he plants.
Here's
just like
spin,
a reverse spin.
And then it's a spin again, jump backwards.
So, you knew he was talented. I thought it was a brilliant move by Howie Roseman. Signing a running back like Saquon Barkley doesn't work for every franchise. I mean, honestly, the Giants letting him walk really isn't that crazy considering where they are with Daniel Jones. And they're really building. They have no offensive line. It would almost be a waste for Saquon Barkley. But it makes them look bad that they didn't even try to sign him, or they really weren't bullish on bringing him back long term. But and Bob, here's the other thing: we're through 8 games. I know there is another side of Saquon Barkley, and that's the injured side of Saquon Barkley. And you actually saw him take a pretty good shot on that play right there. It looked like he took it in the head, and I was worried there was a concussion. So he's got to be careful about it. But through 8 games this year, he's got 925 rushing yards. He's on pace for 2,000 yards in a 17-game season.
Yeah, which is amazing. And it's, you bring up Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman deciding to bring him in here. Was it a case where their confidence level in Jalen Hurts started to dwindle a little bit, and it was we got to get that running back? The fact that Lane Johnson and company went to the coaching staff a few games back and said, hey, look, we got to run the ball more. There's a big thing there, and now you have that you can rely on. And so, it's paid dividends, and throughout the year. The injury thing is interesting, John, because yesterday I thought a few times you saw him come off the field, I thought he was stretching a knee, a hammy, something, especially after the backwards jump. I thought his legs were tightening up a little bit. This week will be interesting. It was funny, I was driving in here. I anticipate it's a week of no Saquon Barkley practicing, and then boom, he shows up on Sunday to play.
You would have liked to really have, and we'll obviously get into this, you would have liked him not to have to play high-leverage snaps in the fourth quarter. Because the way they're using him right now is not conducive to him being healthy at the end of the season. No. It's just not. I mean, he has almost 1,100 scrimmage yards, 8 touchdowns. Look what he did yesterday, 159, had the rushing touchdown. I mean, the touchdown catch that he had was fantastic.
A great catch. Great catch.
And it's not the first we've seen this year where it brings back visions of Brian Westbrook. They haven't had a receiving running back that looks like he could play wide receiver since Brian Westbrook.
Yeah, and you can make the argument, although he ran the ball 27 times and his touches are way up there, that they haven't really used him as much as they could out of the backfield. You haven't seen a wheel route yet all that much from him or screen plays. Whatever happened to the screen?
They don't even practice the screenplay. No, Sirianni, it's like I don't know if Jalen doesn't sell it well or it's just not what they want to do in the offense.
Yeah.
They haven't done they can't do it. It's going to try.
No.
To do screen passes.
No. And when they do with that little bubble screen, it always looks bad.
So what's just with Saquon, and then we'll talk about Jalen for a second. With Saquon, this is their toughest stretch of the season. So you wouldn't expect them to be able to dial down the carries and the playing time with them. The Cowboys game might end up being a laugher. We'll see what happens with that. But then you have Washington. You travel to Los Angeles, and the Rams are good.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Ravens. Lamar Jackson had a perfect game yesterday, literally. The Ravens are, although they'll lose games you don't expect, they're really good. So I wouldn't expect his usage to go down in the next month. So you got to preserve him because this is how you win. You had said earlier, did Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman say, hey, we got to get more help to Jalen Hurts. We can't put him out there like we did last year. And I think it was a brilliant move because you're really talking about a 2-year contract that they gave Saquon Barkley. If he was injured or didn't work, they get rid of him after the second year, and there's a cap hit or whatever. But the cap's BS as it is in the NFL right now. But what the Eagles said in the offseason was, The only way we're getting back to the Super Bowl is if we get Jalen Hurts back to what we saw in 2022. And that's by having a great running game. That's by putting dynamic receivers around him. And that's about better play calling. Kellen Moore's really gotten into a groove with what they're doing offensively. And Saquon Barkley, they can run their offense through Saquon Barkley. And that makes Jalen Hurts that much more effective.
Oh, no question. And think about it. Like yesterday, they didn't have Dallas Goedert again. A.J. Brown goes out. What was it, halftime? Right before
I
halftime,
don't remember
I
much
believe.
of him after that.
Yeah, and didn't return. Now, that's something to keep an eye on. You know, I was thinking about this with all the usage and the way Barkley was acting yesterday. I thought, wow, could next week, and excuse me for saying this, could next week be maybe a load management game for a Saquon Barkley because Dallas won't have Dak Prescott probably because of the hamstring and whatever. But now with A.J. Brown, you know, I'm hearing that it could be a couple of week thing maybe with that knee. No, you're going to have to rely on Barkley. So, like I said, this week could be all right, Saquon, just get yourself healthy. Don't worry about practicing. Get yourself healthy to go into that Dallas game. But you're right, John. Who's your MVP of this team so far? Who's the MVP of this high-powered offense? It's not even close that it's Saquon Barkley.
Not even close.
Right? Not even close.
Not even close.
So you have to keep going with what gets you there, and right now it's him.
We all silly like the mayor.